Men should wear it on the left and women on the right. It should be worn above the heart. The leaf should point to 11 o'clock. There are many suggestions, but the Royal British Legion says there's no right or wrong way to wear your poppy, as long as it's worn with pride.
It signifies a public appreciation of the service of the armed forces, the sacrifice and the service they've given throughout the years. That is the importance of wearing the poppy and showing your solidarity with what they've done throughout the last 100 years, certainly.
We've had a lot of recent conflicts, so do you think that ensures that the poppy appeal remains alive?
Yeah, it's very important. I mean, the role of the Legion is as to champion remembrance, to remember those that fell. But equally important is what the Legion does for those who remain, the veterans and the families. And that is really one of the key things that the Poppy Appeal is for, is to gather funds to carry on the good work. And there's a whole host of things that the Legion does in terms of care of the veterans, recovery of veterans, supporting the veterans' homes. So there's a whole range of things that the Legion does. And of course in Gibraltar as well, we do help quite a lot of ex-members of the armed forces on that.
It was a war to end all wars. 9 million soldiers and 7 million civilians died. This year, the centenary of the Armistice, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, will coincide with Remembrance Sunday, lest we forget.
Yes, it's quite significant. This is the centenary year of the end of the First World War. Gibraltar played an important part, obviously because of where we are geographically, but it's also in terms of all the volunteers that Gibraltar produced and went off. Of course, we know about the Gibraltar Volunteer Corps who stayed here, but equally important are the very many number of Gibraltarians who actually went and fought throughout all the theatres of war. And it's an aspect which I think has been slightly neglected. We don't seem to know a lot about these. And I'm actually at the moment going through collecting all the names of all those that did, and we have nearly 100 names, not only the British Armed Forces, but the Australian Armed Forces, the Canadians, even in the US Army. So, and again, throughout all the theatres of war, from Gallipoli, from Palestine to the Western Front.
And what are you going to be doing with that research?
Well, hopefully I'll produce a list, a catalogue of all those so that we can remember them. And also, if I can, highlight some of the important exploits. We have Gibraltarians who won the Distinguished Service Order, the Military Crosses, Distinguished Conduct Medals, mentioned in dispatches. So, and we don't seem to know a lot of those. And I'd like to bring out some of the stories there because it's fascinating. Not only in the Army, but also the Navy, and even one in the beginning of the Air Force. So hopefully at some stage I'll be able to retell all that.
It's said remembrance strengthens communities. It reminds us of the rights and duties we have as individuals. But perhaps more importantly, it shows us what we're capable of and helps us learn from our mistakes by sharing the light of history on the darker aspects of our nature.